to read. And the number one, Eddie Van Halen. I mean, what else do I need to say? You know, I had Hendrix on the side of my list. And the reason being is Hendrix, although I appreciate and understand and respect and acknowledge the mark that Hendrix made really before any of these players we're going to talk about, Hendrix predated my time being into rock. I was too young to be there with the emergence of Hendrix. If I was, maybe I'd feel a little differently. But if you think about it, my Hendrix and anybody in their 40s, 50s, their Jimi Hendrix is Eddie Van Halen. You know, in that lineage, he's right there. And it'd be ludicrous for me to sit here and justify and explain to you why Eddie Van Halen is number one. Be a harder case to make the reason why he wouldn't be. You know, needless to say, everything. The songs, the playing, the riffs, the soloing, the groundbreaking, everything. The sound. The fact that the records still hold up brilliantly. So Eddie Van Halen at 1, Schenker at 2, Ace Frehley at 3, Richie Kotzen at 4, John Sykes at 5. You get a little, with my list, a little sort of interesting spread there of 80s-based guys with Kotzen, Sykes, Kotzen way more late 80s. You know, a 70s-based guy that influenced so many with Ace at 3. Schenker, who started like in 1970, he was like 15. Another 70s guy in Eddie Van Halen. Those, again, I got to preface this, folks. I am not a guitar player, right? So I can only tell you where I'm at now with things that I listen to and love and players who I look forward to hearing something from, or when I put on one of their records, that's the thing for me. I can't wait to hear these solos just stop me in my tracks. And all 5 of those players fit that category for me. Not to say others don't, but all 5 do, which is why that's my list. But so does Dave Meniketti, so does Nuno Bettencourt, so does Gary Moore. In a lot of ways, John Sykes is a mix of Gary Moore and Randy Rhoads, which he himself will admit. And that's one guy missing from my list that I didn't even do in my rundowns of mentions is Randy Rhoads. And let me explain that up front, because I know we'll probably get a ton of Randy coming up, and obviously deserving. But my thing with Randy is this. Never saw him live personally, and a very, very sadly small body of work. So yes, what he did on the 2 Ozzy records stands the test of time, is utterly brilliant. No argument. But unless you count the Quiet Riot stuff, which most people don't even know, it's really all about 2 records. And as great as those records are, and as unbelievable as his performances are on them, it's just such a small body of work for me to include him with some of these other players. It's just such a short moment in time, both live and recorded, that although it's amazing the mark it made, it's really about 2 records. So that's why it was a little easier for me to leave that off. Not that I don't love Randy. Not that he doesn't fit my criteria for guitar players I like, but it's just not a lot to work with in terms of catalog. So there's my 5. Sykes, Kotzen, Ace, Schenker, Eddie Van Halen at number 1. With a bunch